Hey, my name is Alex and welcome to my video. Today I'm going to share with you my recipe for carnitas. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to make the rub. And I'm actually going to be writing it down off to the side here because my sister requested it. In the rub, so this right here, I'll show you real quick. What is this called? Wing Magic Smoky Lime Wing Rub. Pretend this is tahini. We have some oregano. Maybe I'll just tell you as I'm going. Okay, so pretend it's tahini. We have chili powder. We're gonna use oregano, cumin, garlic powder, onion powder. This, let's save that fast. Coriander. If you don't have coriander, just add some extra fresh cilantro at the end. And then I have salt and pepper over here. And then this is also something that I like to add to mine because we like a little bit of a smoky flavor. So this is actually a smoked salt. I got it at a local place to us. Obviously, you don't have to add this. Another way you could kind of replicate the flavor of this would be to add a little chipotle powder, which is really smoky. That'd be another way to do it. Anyways, so now I'm just gonna add our ingredients for the rub to the bowl. So I'm gonna do about a tablespoon to start. Oh my gosh, of the pretend tahini. You know what? I'm gonna call this 3 tablespoons and we're gonna finish it. If I have extra of this rub, I'll just save it. We're gonna go in with 2 tablespoons onion powder. Whenever I make this, I always make quite a bit of carnitas. So right now I'm using a almost 8-pound butt roast. You can obviously use a smaller one. We're gonna go in with a tablespoon of oregano. Here's our coriander. For our coriander, I'm gonna add a teaspoon of coriander. Now we have our garlic powder. We're gonna go in with a tablespoon of garlic powder. And here's our cumin. We're gonna go in it with a tablespoon of cumin. Let's call this a heaping tablespoon of cumin. I'm gonna add some black pepper in here. Salt and pepper to personal preference. I am going to, I'm actually gonna grab my kosher salt. Whenever I do any big rubs, or big roasts, I like to use kosher salt in the rub. And this is a lot of meat, so we're gonna be pretty heavy with this salt here. So if it looks like I'm using a lot, it's because I am. Okay, so you know what? One more pinch. I'm just, right, you can't see it right now, it's out of the screen, but I'm looking at that roast and that's a big boy. Okay. So I'm gonna call that a tablespoon of kosher salt. Now we're gonna mix this together. And then I'm gonna eyeball it, or this is gonna sound weird. I've made this rub so often that just by the smell and the sight, I can tell if it's where I want it. So I'm gonna just do a little mix here. Oh, that's smelling good. Okay, I think that's perfect. So, yay me. All right, I'm gonna quickly just clean up the mess from the rub and then I will grab the roast and I'll meet you back here. I lied, I completely forgot about the smoked salt. So I'm going to add about a ½ teaspoon. You do not need a lot of this. And again, I said this is optional. Another thing you could add would be like a little bit of liquid smoke. Again, I'd just be that stuff has such a strong flavor that you have to be real careful with it. So that was a half a teaspoon. Now I'll come back with the butt roast. So on the stove right now, I have a large pan with about 2 tablespoons of olive oil heating up. That's on a medium heat. I just rinsed our pork butt. Again, I think this is about 7.5 or 8 pounds. And then I patted it dry with paper towels. And that's where we're at right now. So now I like to trim off the extra fat. And I was gonna do this off camera, but you know what? Maybe some people don't know what trim off the extra fat means. So you'll notice most pork butts, or everyone I've ever gotten, will have 2 sides, one that's a lot less fatty and one that's a lot more fatty. Please do not follow my knife skills. You will be scared watching me. Anyways, so what I mean with the extra fat is this big, thick white layer. So that's what I'm gonna take off right now. Now that we got off the extra layer, I'm just going to cut this up into smaller chunks. You can cook this whole thing as is. I like to cut in smaller chunks, especially if I'm doing it in the Instant Pot, because it cooks it a lot faster and you can sear it on the stove faster and whatnot. So I'm just gonna cut it up into smaller chunks. I guess you'll see what size I cut them up into. This one's good as is. And there is still some fat on this. I'm not taking it all off because you do want some of that fat for the flavor. The one thing, honestly, it doesn't matter what size chunks you use. The only thing that you need to make sure of when cutting up any kind of meat into a smaller size is just try to keep it uniform in size, roughly around the same size, so that it cooks roughly at the same time. And this is, I don't know why these pieces are triangles, so this whole thing's gonna look, I'm not purposely cutting this in triangles, it just is how it is now. Okay, now that I have it all roughly in uniform chunks, we're going to rub it all down with that rub that we just made. I have those all rubbed down, so I'm going to put them, I'm gonna have to cook this in batches because of how much meat that there is, but I'm going to cook it on the stove on each side, just 2 minutes. You're just trying to get a nice sear, a nice brown on it at a medium high heat. So I've just brought the meat over. I'm gonna show you a quick little clip. It's gonna be sped up and I'm gonna probably have to put something over it because I'm gonna turn the vent on because it will get a little bit smoky. But again, I'm just gonna sear the pork on all sides and then I'm going to put it here in my Instant Pot and then I'll be right back. Now we have the pork seared off and it's in our Instant Pot, and I actually ended up taking that pork out and adding my trivet in. I don't know if you can kind of see it in there, just so it doesn't stick to the bottom, because I don't know if I have a weird Instant Pot or what, but I have problems with burning on mine. So to our pork, and remember that we already had that rub that we rubbed the pork in before we seared it. I'm adding 1/2 cup of water, and that is just because of I'm doing it in the Instant Pot and you need liquid. If I wasn't doing it in the Instant Pot, then I would not add that. If I was doing it in the slow cooker, I should say. We got a kid down. Okay, now to that, I'm going to add lots of garlic because we love it. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, about like that. And then a little more. So I think all together, we're gonna call this, if you're using minced garlic, I would say 3 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons maybe. And cloves of garlic, I would say that would equal out to be 8, but our family, we love garlic and you're gonna see that in a lot of our recipes. There's no vampires up in this place. Okay, and I have a little bit of that rub left that we rubbed the pork in, and I'm just gonna sprinkle that on top because if not, I put my hands in there and I'd have to toss it out anyways. And it's just gonna add a little extra flavor. And I already know, because we measured out the salt, that that salt is not gonna overpower this amount of meat. Okay, and now to that, I have some green chilies. This is a 7-ounce can. You can buy chilies medium or hot or mild. I was actually trying to find mild because I have some complainers in my house. If it was up to me, it would be hot. But I could only find medium. And I also saw this. I don't know if it's a new brand. El Pinto Hatch Valley medium green chilies. I don't know. It just, honestly, it was the packaging is why I bought it, because I didn't have to open a can. So I got one of these as well. And it's also fire roasted. I believe I said, didn't I just say that? Yeah. So it's gonna add a little of that roasted kind of smoky flavor that we like. If you don't like that smoky flavor, don't buy roasted. Okay. Now we're gonna go in with our oranges. I'm gonna add 1 to 2. I'm gonna see how much juice we get out of 1. Now the orange juice is for, you know what, this is not gonna fit in there. A nice citrus flavor. And it brings a brightness to it. And it kind of cuts through some of that fat, because this is a fatty cut of meat. Here's my trick, is I'm squeezing that and I'm also putting the rind on top. We're gonna do the same thing with the other one. And this is pretty juicy, so I think I'm gonna just stick with one of them here. And then we are going to squeeze a lime in. And fun fact, at Walmart, the limes were only slightly larger than a grape. So I didn't get any there. And then I asked my friend today to pick one up. She came over for supper, and this is what she found, which is much better than Walmart, but not great either. So maybe limes are just not in season, or maybe we have a lime shortage around me. I'm not quite sure. Okay, we'll squeeze the lime in there. The lime juice is just kind of gonna do the same thing. It breaks through that fat and just adds a little brightness. The tahini, or that wing rub that I put on, the pretend tahini, that kind of has I think that was lime extract or something, some lime in there. So we have a little bit of that lime juice in that as well. Okay, now that we have everything in our Instant Pot, I'm going to put this on high pressure for 45 minutes, and then I'll meet you back here. All right, so my Instant Pot just went off, well, 20 minutes ago. I let it do a natural pressure leak for 20 minutes before letting out the rest of the pressure. Actually, let me show you what it looks like in the pot real quick. It's smelling so good in here. So now what we're gonna do, don't mind the kids, we do have a family. Anyways, now what we're gonna do is just shred our pork. And I will come back once that's done. Okay, so quick change of plans. I'm gonna use the KitchenAid with a paddle attachment because it's just faster. Okay, so this is all of the carnitas that we got out of that 8-pound. This is a huge bowl, by the way, out of that 8-pound pork butt roast. And then I'm going to take, it's gonna be about a cup or so of the liquid. You can, however much you want. And I'm just gonna put it on top of this. It's gonna keep the meat moist. And also that liquid has so much flavor in it because of all those seasonings. Get in the frame here. You can hear that we have lots and lots of kids here playing right now. Do another little scoop here. But that is going to keep it moist. So the reason I actually, instead of just, you can, if you did it in a slow cooker, you could put this right back in the slow cooker and keep it that way on warm, or in the Instant Pot, you could also keep it on warm. I'm using this as more of a meal prep this week. We're gonna eat this tonight with as tacos, but I also have somebody that is sick that I'm bringing a meal to, and then I also am planning on making enchiladas with this carnitas, which is actually my and my son's favorite way to eat this carnitas is enchiladas. They're pretty good if I do say so myself. Anyways, I will show you a picture of my finished plate. And if you liked today's video, then please subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future. Well, the 2-year-old's excited for the tacos, and here you go with all the toppings. Thanks for watching.